Greetings, hello, salutations. What else am I looking? Bienvenido.
Ni hao.
What's that?
Ni hao.
What?
Ni hao? Is it Japanese?
No, that's konnichiwa.
Is it
Or is that,
Mandarin?
Or is konnichiwa?
What's
thank
ni?
you.
What's ni hao? Why do I know that? Is that Wayne's World? Doesn't Mike Myers do the ni hao? Sorry, maybe that's not appropriate anymore because that's 30 years ago. So I don't know.
Should we start the whole thing?
Yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we should get that in post. I wasn't trying to be that way. I was trying to think of another way to say hello. I thought ni hao was
We're just going to
hello.
do.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Hi there. Welcome. Adios. Is that goodbye? Hola.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, my name is Jake Query.
Hi, I'm Derek Schultz.
And the Final Four is now set, and this is actually our fourth attempt at starting this program. This is the incredibly creatively and appropriately named Query and Schultz program here on the ISC Sports Network as we get set to not only talk Final Four, we have all kinds of great sponsor things to get to, but Derek, also, the Colts are in the news, not in the news, we don't know yet, right?
Well, it's interesting because Colts still need a quarterback. We all know that, so this is like this ongoing saga with who the next quarterback is going to be. And you have really what's been, I think, whittled down to two options in the first round because the general consensus is that it's Stroud and Young, 1, 2 in some order.
Right.
So whoever the Panthers take, the Texans will take whoever is left out of that group. And then the tier 2 is Anthony Richardson and Will Levis, and we're going to talk more about Will Levis coming up here in just a bit. But kind of floating on the, I wouldn't even say the periphery, I mean, people know that this is going on, is this whole Lamar Jackson situation in Baltimore. And what ended up happening this morning was Lamar Jackson took to Twitter and formally announced that he is requesting a trade or has requested a trade from the Ravens. That doesn't mean that the Ravens are absolutely going to trade him. We've seen other quarterbacks request trades before, right? And it hasn't always
You sound like
worked
Elmer
out
Fudd
that
right
way.
there. Were you trying to sound like Elmer Fudd?
What are you talking about?
Request trades.
I said it perfectly
No,
fine.
I think you said request trades.
Request trades.
Driving in my car. You sound like Elmer
No,
Fudd.
I think I said it just fine. I mean, we can roll the tape on that, Vince, if I said it weird.
Will be the first time we rolled the tape on this program this
Yeah,
morning.
well, yeah, as far as the intros are concerned.
I'm looking
and all
up
that.
Lamar Jackson's Twitter account as we speak.
But wait, I've got it right here. The text from his announcement. In regards to my future plans, as of
texted
March
you?
2nd. No, this is his tweet, Jake. I don't know Lamar Jackson. As of March 2nd, I requested a trade from the Ravens organization for which the Ravens have not been interested in meeting my value. Any and everyone that's met me or been around me know I love the game of football, and my dream is to help a team win the Super Bowl. You're all great, but I had to make a business decision that was best for my family and I. No matter how far I go or where my career takes me, I'll continue to be close to the fans of Baltimore, Flock Nation, entire state of Maryland. You'll see me again, blah, 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 blah. It's part of a larger thread, but that is the key comment of the Twitter thread from Lamar Jackson was that March 2nd he told the team, hey, man, trade me.
Okay.
Problem is that we're already into the offseason a little bit here, Jake, and you just traded Stephon Gilmore for a fifth-rounder. If you knew that you were getting Lamar Jackson, you probably wouldn't have traded Stephon Gilmore for a fifth-rounder.
I would agree.
Right?
Unless Stephon Gilmore wanted to be traded. Here's the reality. Lamar Jackson is a most valuable player in the NFL. He's one of the top 8 quarterbacks in the league. Fair? When healthy.
Yeah. I'd put him 8 to 10, yeah.
He's one of the top, well, probably that means 8 quarterbacks in the AFC because it's very loaded.
Well, yeah.
However, the Baltimore Ravens do not consider it having no one knows Lamar Jackson more than the Baltimore Ravens. I don't mean as a person. I have no indication to believe he's anything other than a fine person. I mean as a player. Been wonderful as a player. But the Baltimore Ravens look at it and say, we don't have the roster around Lamar Jackson right now to be able to commit $200+ million of guaranteed money to him to keep him here in Baltimore, right?
Mm-hmm.
What part of the Colts roster would indicate to anybody that the supporting cast in Indianapolis is superior to Baltimore and thus plugging Lamar Jackson into that same roster surrounding core would suddenly put Indianapolis in a better position to win than Baltimore was in. And why would Indianapolis say, we would be willing to pay $250 million of guaranteed money to get probably the same results that Baltimore doesn't seem to think is worth their paying when they know his skill set better than anybody?
I'm with you. This is not like a slam dunk sort of situation. I think the Colts are in an interesting conundrum here because you can talk me into any of these options, and you can also show me how any of these options can go bust.
Derek, the other thing, too, is this is not free agency.
Mm-hmm. You got to give something up, and then you got to pay him.
Right.
So it's kind of the double-edged sword of both things. You've got to give up draft capital, and you have to commit real dollars and guaranteed money, not rookie-scale deals.
Right.
Like you could with Levis or Richardson if we're to assume that one of those two is the pick. But I kind of agree with you that I don't think this roster is in as bad shape as some people think. But I think this is if we were to add up all the NFL rosters where we sit right now, I think the Colts would be somewhere in like the 17 to 22 range.
That's fair.
That's where I think their roster is. And I don't think Lamar Jackson dramatically changes that like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes would drastically change that. Because I think Lamar Jackson is great. I'm higher on him than most. But if we're doing tiers of quarterbacks, he's not on the first tier.
I mean, he's pretty good. When he's healthy and he's pretty
I guess it depends on how many people are on your tier, though. Right? I mean, to me, Lamar Jackson is an MVP like...
More ice.
This is going to come off the wrong way. Lamar Jackson is an MVP to me like Derrick Rose was an MVP.
Yeah, still the most valuable player.
You still won and you're MVP, but there are some durability issues there. Like, when he's right, he's right. He really is one of the best players in the league. But I think that is how that ultimately is going to age. Like, I don't view Lamar Jackson like some all-time elite level talent like I do the names that I just listed right there. Like, I think all of those guys are going to go down like that. I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to be that level of player.
Right.
That's what I struggle with. Lamar Jackson feels like an all-in move.
Do you think Lamar Jackson has hit, or excuse me, Lamar Jackson? Do you think Lamar Jackson has hit his ceiling?
Yes, I think Lamar
He's
Jackson.
26.
I think Lamar Jackson is really, really good. I just don't know how much better he's going to be.
That's fair.
Than he was at his ceiling, and this is an all-in move for a guy that I'm not sure is worth going all in on.
Here's the best way I would say my thoughts. Lamar Jackson has been an exceptional, at times transcendent, and unforeseen talent at quarterback in a multidimensional way. And even at that would not be good enough to put this Colts roster over the top.
Yeah, I mean, he would make them a playoff team. I think he'd make them a division winner. And as long as you're a playoff team and a division winner, as long as you're on the dance floor, you can dance. But
did you get on the dance floor a lot?
A lot. I still do.
Okay.
I still do. Well, I mean, not as often as I used to because we're out of the weddings every weekend range. You know, like JD is in that area right now, or Vince, I guess, would be more so. Like, you're 26, 27 to 32. That's when basically you're doing like 3, 4, 5 weddings every spring and summer.
I've never seen you. I mean, I went to your wedding.
Yeah. I tore it up at mine.
I don't think I went to the reception.
Well, we invited Shannon, and Shannon brought you as her +1.
I think we skipped the
reception.
reception.
How I remembered. Okay, yeah. I remember seeing you there.
Did you dance before or after the cake?
Both.
Because I don't remember anything after the cake.
I don't really remember anything after the cake either.
Go figure. No. Probably a good thing, right?
No. I actually wasn't even really drinking at my wedding because we were really stressed out.
Why?
It was, if we could do it all over again, I want to get back to the Colts and Lamar Jackson.
You'd still get married,
we would have
right?
just gone to the courthouse.
Really?
Yeah. I was the one that wanted the big party, the big wedding, but it was extremely difficult to coordinate a ton of people who had never been to Indianapolis before from Vermont and Connecticut to come all the way to do a
Was
wedding
it,
here.
Do you think it was harder than scheduling your 40th birthday party?
Okay, well, you got invited to my wedding. What else do you want?
I would know.
What else do you want?
Take a sip of it.
I know, yeah. Your grandpa's old fashioned. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Lou Malnati's and Chili Water Brewing and Hoagies and Hops and all that too. But getting back to Lamar, again, like I feel like
it is good.
And you have it worse than I do, Jake, because you're on daily. You got the radio show every day, and people keep asking you, who do you like? Who do you like? Who do you like? And I feel like saying, whether it's Levis, whether it's Richardson, whether it's Jackson, I like all of them.
Right.
Like, you can talk me into any one of these guys, but there also is, like, the equally large chance that they could not work out. Like, Lamar Jackson's obviously a more sure thing than a rookie. Like, we know, I think, what Lamar Jackson's floor would be, but that doesn't mean that he gets you to where you want to go.
I think the Colts like Levis. Until I hear differently or suspect differently, that's what I'm sticking with. I think the Colts like Levis.
That's been the scuttlebutt around Irsay from the get-go, was that
Correct.
Levis was the one that he liked the most.
Correct.
I still think Richardson makes the most sense for what they have and where they're at. But, yes, you could – Levis has got a big-time arm. And he's a big dude. He's 6'4". Like, he hits all the measurables. And if you hit the measurables, you could teach the other stuff.
Is he Justin Herbert?
That would be like a pie-in-the-sky best-case scenario probably
what does that mean,
for him.
pie in the sky?
I don't know.
That'd be weird, wouldn't it?
Just a saying, yeah.
I know, but, like, there has to be an origin of, like, the first time that someone saw or wished for a pie in the sky. And what kind of pie was it?
I think it's pizza, is my understanding.
No.
Yeah. Like a pie in the sky, like a pepperoni.
No. Okay, so does that mean like you're making the pizza? You flung it in the air and the pie's in the sky and you're waiting for it to have your dish? Is that what that means?
Let's see. The phrase was coined by Joe Hill in 1911. It's from the song The Preacher and the Slave by Swedish-American labor activist and songwriter Joe Hill, which he wrote a parody of the Salvation Army hymn. I don't know what any of those words mean. You will eat by and by in that glorious land above the sky. Work and pray, live on hay. You'll get pie in the sky. Yeah, you get pizza, like a pizza party, in the sky when you die.
It doesn't say what kind of pie.
So the pie in the sky is something that you reach for as your best, like your heaven is in the sky.
Well, that'd be like warm apple pie, right?
No, like pizza pie.
No.
I guess it's all relative. If you really loved apple pie, your pie in the sky could be apple. My pie in the sky would probably be
cherry.
No, I put a little ragout on there. Maybe some
cream?
prosciutto, some basil,
pecan,
little mousse,
pumpkin
in there as well, or maybe like a Lou Malnati's deep dish.
Okay,
put that as the pie in the sky.
All right,
that would work for me too. Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about. Let's move on to Will Levis because
I'm telling
before the Lamar Jackson stuff happened this morning, the Will Levis Pro Day was what we were going to discuss on the show because a lot of the indie, like Zach Kiefer, I think Holder was down there. A lot of the indie media was down in Lexington for his Pro Day, and he impressed. And again, Jake, look, he looks the part. Blaine Gabbert looked the part. Jake Locker looked the part. Like there have been other guys that have looked the part. Yeah, that haven't really that have had middling to no levels of success. But you can talk me into Will Levis. I know that sounds like a cop-out anscer, but I'd be fine with Will Levis.
There was a time at the beginning of the college football season where he was thought of as like he was going to be a number one pick, right?
Yeah.
And I get it. Everybody now with all 22 and whatever else, I had a guy the other day say, I'm not impressed with his tape. Okay. Everybody's an expert. Everybody's a scout. Look, if you watched games of him, there were times where he had some interceptions that you're like, well, that was a weird throw.
Mm.
His decision-making apparently is questionable. His footwork at times apparently is questionable. I'm having to go by what people who know way more about this than I say. But you're right. He's 6'4". He's got a big arm. He looks athletic enough.
He's tough. Played through injuries. I think you like that, right? If you're a Colts fan, you like the toughness, the grit, blue-collar gold swagger.
Blue and white. He plays in blue and white.
Plays in blue and white as well. Those jerseys are sweet with like the checkerboard.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Blue and white. I love the UK colors. But some of the cons, ball placement, like you said, accuracy, decision-making.
Same things you heard about Josh Allen, right?
He's 24 in June, too. So he's not head and hooker, but he's an older prospect. And 24 in June. Right. Anthony Richardson's 22 in May. So he's full
Trevor
2
Lawrence
years
is
younger.
21,
yeah.
isn't he?
Or, well, he's 22 now, right?
He might be.
Yeah, I think so.
But still. I I did this earlier on the radio show. I'll do it to you, okay? We'll tie them both in together. Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, Lamar Jackson. There's one other one. Who was the other one I came up with? Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, Lamar Jackson. Not Stroud Young. Who's the other quarterback?
Hendon Hooker?
Gardner Minshew.
Oh, okay.
Of those four, so Minshew, Jackson, Levis.
Who's starting week 1?
And Richardson. Give me the NCAA Final Four participant that has the best odds of being their primary starter next season based on the team that has the best odds of winning it all.
Well, yeah, that's actually a great question. UConn is a huge favorite, and Gardner Minshew's already on the roster.
Correct.
So
Correct.
I think you'd have to probably say Minshew is UConn.
Okay.
I just have a feeling I get the stuff about Levis and Irsay and all of that. Everything else seems to point to Richardson to me. So I'm going to say Richardson is Miami.
Okay.
But I hate that because there's a gap between Miami and San Diego State or FAU. You know what I mean?
Well, I would say Levis is San Diego State.
Okay.
Has all the intangibles. Yeah. You know, you look at it and it's like, okay, they're long, they defend well, they've overcome they've had some comebacks. You've heard of their name, but you never really thought of them as completely legitimate, and here they are. Mm-hmm. And if they win it, you're not totally stunned. So that's, although I think Will Levis is Connecticut, but with everything you said, I would go, that's the San Diego State, and then Florida Atlantic.
We're just talking week 1, right? So that changes.
More games than anybody else.
Okay, well, then that might change where I'm at. I would still go Minshew like Miami because I think that
Did you work on your bushes?
He's already on the roster.
This weekend out in the front yard?
No.
Okay. I noticed you're hedging today. That's why.
No, I'm not. You changed the explanation of what was happening.
No, I think it was pretty clear.
And Lamar would be FAU because it just feels unlikely that it would be him. I mean, UConn-Miami is the de facto national championship game, right?
But, Derek, UConn...
If you're here, you can win it.
UConn has absolutely steamrolled this tournament. I mean, it's impressive. They are on pace. The highest point-per-game average for victory in a 6-game tournament title run is Kentucky in 96.
Yeah, the greatest team of my lifetime.
UConn is on pace to surpass that, okay? But a lot of times we see teams that blister through the first 2 weeks, and then in this week, like, it comes back down to earth and there's a letdown in the semis.
Yeah.
That may be the case. And I do think that, Miami's pretty good. I mean, I think that's going to be a tough game. Florida Atlantic and San Diego State kind of feels like that Texas Tech Michigan State semifinal where you're like, well, these are the two teams that and then Texas Tech gets in the finals. Like,
yeah,
oh
they
my
had
gosh,
Virginia
like,
dead to rights. Yeah, they very easily could have and probably should have won that game. But it is I've got an observation about this Final Four that I want to get to when we come back.
I have a trivia question about it.
Okay, then we'll do that as well.
Do you want me to ask you now and you can think about it?
No, don't step on my tees. I just outlined the tees, and that's the tees that we're rolling with going into the break. Thanks. It's Query and Schultz, presented by Bailey & Wood Financial Group. More next.
Nice snap.
Mortgage is a snap. Duh.
Bailey & Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Introducing an old-fashioned that's ready to go when you are. An old-fashioned that you can make anywhere, anytime. Add 3 ounces of your favorite spirit plus one of our sugar cubes to make a consistent bar-quality old-fashioned without a mixologist. We use the finest bitters, organic crystallized brown sugar, and orange in our cubes. That's it, because that's everything the perfect old-fashioned needs. Online at yourgrandpasoldfashioned.com or on social media at YG Old Fashioned.
Hey, AC.
Nice snap.
Mortgage is a snap. Duh.
Bailey & Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Welcome back. It's Query and Schultz. Last week in March edition of the show, episode 129, presented by Bailey & Wood Financial Group. BAWFG.com, 855-350-HOME. They had Mike and his team put together an Indiana map where all of their locations, and I was counting them up over the weekend, and we're up to 18 now.
Really?
18 Indiana branch locations of Bailey & Wood Financial Group. He was in Hawaii with the kids. I'm assuming they were on break from school, and looked like a lot of fun at the Disney resort out there. And
There's a Disney resort in Hawaii?
there's a Disney resort in Hawaii, yeah. Like not a theme park, but
Is that the next place for you to go?
they had the characters and all of that. Well, we're not like huge. We go to Disney like
Who's
once
your
every
favorite-
5-6 years.
Who's your favorite Disney character?
Donald Duck.
Okay.
Yeah. Why?
Donald's kind of lame. Daffy was cooler than Donald.
Daffy is Looney Tunes.
I know.
Yeah, it's not Disney.
I understand,
Okay.
but in the
It's not a
Duck
Disney character.
in the Duck
Yeah.
social hierarchy, Daffy, Donald, right?
No,
Oregon.
I don't think that's right. Donald Duck has far more brand recognition than Daffy. Daffy is the Indiana basketball of cartoon ducks. He had its run for like 30 years, and no one outside of Indiana really cares about Daffy Duck anymore. Donald is North Carolina, Kentucky. Yeah.
No, Donald is the quarterback at USC, right? He's at USC, so of course it's like, oh, he's a great quarterback. Daffy is like the quarterback at Louisville. Like he's good. He's right there, but he's not he's in the lesser school.
Yeah,
That's
people
okay.
in Louisville care and nobody else cares. Yeah, so I agree with you. That's actually a pretty good example of the two.
Daffy runs with better homies too.
You can throw this out on Twitter, but it's going to be like UConn Gonzaga
I don't
level
dispute
blowout.
that Donald's the more famous, but Daffy is cooler. Donald's weird, man. He dressed like a sailor.
Well, Daffy doesn't wear anything. Daffy is completely in the nude, right?
Yeah, but he's very
At least Donald
he's very
tries.
comfortable with himself. Okay.
I mean, Daffy would be banned in Florida. That's kind of where we are right now with Daffy.
What wouldn't be banned in
Well,
Florida,
yeah, that's a
Derek?
good point, I guess.
I mean,
Donald at least tries to put something
Donald's a pantless sailor. You think he'd be running around Florida
on.
and
He at
just
least tries, though.
they'd be
He's
rolling
got-
out the carpet
He's
for
got
him?
something up top.
Okay. Well, let me tell you. Pluto, which one's Pluto go with?
Pluto is what are we doing here? What is we got a lot
Pluto-
still. We have
Pluto-
Final Four. I've got a tease. I got
Pluto runs with Donald, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
And Pluto's weird, right?
No, he's a dog.
What's-
Goofy's weird.
No, Goofy's cooler than Pluto.
Well, yeah, but Goofy's kind of
Okay. But Porky Pig,
Yeah.
Sylvester,
Is that the cat? I don't even remember. Like Looney Tunes is so.
Foghorn Leghorn, Goat. Foghorn
He's not a
Leghorn.
goat. He's a chicken.
He's a
rooster.
He's the goat. Foghorn Leghorn.
Foghorn
trumps them
Leghorn
all.
is a chicken.
I understand, but he's the goat of the. He's the best.
Do you mean greatest of all time?
Yes.
Foghorn Leghorn?
Yes.
How many people even know who Foghorn Leghorn is that was born after like 1980?
I'll say, listen to me when I'm talking to you,
Okay,
boy.
yeah.
Foghorn Leghorn,
You're
numero uno.
You're showing your age here.
I'm
No one
showing
knows
my
who-
age.
yeah, no one knows
You're
who
talking
Foghorn
about a
Leghorn
duck
is.
that's been around since the 30s.
No one knows who Foghorn Leghorn is.
What? Okay.
Back to the Final
Yeah.
Four. First Final Four ever
Mm-hmm.
with no 1, 2, or 3 seed. Do you know what else is interesting about this Final Four? And I'll tell you, it passed. Sorry.
No one seed past the Sweet 16.
Yeah, that's also there's never ever been an Elite Eight with no 1 seeds.
Right.
But it does not pass this year. Do you want to guess? It happened fairly recently. It does not pass this year for total number of seeds when you add them up. So, like, it's a 4 seed, a 5 seed, a 5 seed, and a 9.
Right.
The total value there is not greater than another Final Four.
Let me guess. 26 in 2011 with Butler and Virginia
Yeah,
Commonwealth.
there you go. Yeah, because Butler was a 8, VCU was an 11, UConn was a 3, and Florida was a 1, weren't they?
Well, give me that again. Butler was
8,
okay.
11
That's
for
19.
VCU, 3 for UConn.
So then
Florida
was
1.
a 4.
Florida was a 4?
Yeah, because it was a total of
Were
26.
they really a 4 that year? I thought Florida was a
Look
1
it up.
in
It was a total
2011.
of 26.
No, wait. 2011 was Kentucky. right?
Kentucky was a 4.
UConn beat Kentucky in the semifinal,
Kentucky
right?
was
Or
a
wait,
4.
did UConn beat Kentucky in the semifinal in 14? Let me go back and look. See, you stepped on my tees, Jake, and then you ruined it for
I'm
what
the
I
one
had.
that knew. I'm the one that knew off the top of my head. 26.
Okay,
Butler,
great. Yeah, you
VCU.
have a daily radio show, so Kevin just feeds you this stuff in the morning.
I bet
It's just from
I bet
osmosis.
Kevin prefers Daffy to Donald.
Let's see. Kentucky was the 4 in 2011. Did they also who did UConn? Wait, UConn beat Florida in 2014. I had my weird UConn runs mixed up. UConn beat Florida in 2014 when Florida was a 1. And that weird UConn team that was a 7 seed. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay. But am I right in
Did you get
saying
this all out of your system?
like Butler in 2011 had a basketball history before 2011. They had just been in the title game. You know, Kentucky, duh. UConn, duh. FAU started as a program in 88.
How about this? Dave?
Miami didn't even have a program for like 15, 20 years, and then they restarted theirs.
How about this? It is the second time in a number of years. It's the first time since what team that a team made a Final Four in the first year that they had ever won a tournament game?
Second time it's ever happened?
I don't know about ever. I think it's
Okay.
ever, but certainly the last time it happened is a famous Final Four
George
run.
Mason?
No. It's a famous Final Four run.
It's not Loyola because they obviously had tournament success before then. Who else was a famous Final Four random run that I'm missing here? 21st century?
No.
Oh. God, then I don't. UNLV.
No.
I don't know. Tell me.
UNLV.
Well, in 87 when they made the Final Four, had they
okay.
made a Final Four before then?
No, this had never won a tournament game.
Or I mean, had they won a tournament? I don't know. I don't know anything about UNLV's history before
Yeah,
that string of.
okay.
Okay. Hit me with it.
You want a player on the team?
Sure.
Carl Nix.
Indiana State.
Yes.
Okay.
Indiana State, 1979. Their first
So,
playoff or their first tournament win was in that year, and they went to the Final Four.
when I asked you fairly recent, you kind of said, yeah, 1979 was
I didn't say
like
yeah.
50 years ago. But,
I didn't say yeah.
yeah, said, yeah, fairly recent.
It wasn't like
We could roll the tape on that. But.
it wasn't like the 1939 CCNY
Okay, well,
team.
1979 is not recent. It's kind of like Daffy Duck's relevance. It's just not. It's not recent.
No, I said it's still. You said relevant, and I said the team is yes. Because Indiana State, you still hear about it because of Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Sorry. We could go back to talking about more topical things in
Okay.
the area, like
I
the
just,
2014 seventh-seeded UConn Huskies. People around here dying to hear about that. They know everything about Jonathan Trumbull and the UConn Huskies of
They do.
2013,
It's a blue blood program.
and none of them remember Indiana State in 1979.
I was talking about this, and look, you have biases. Oh, we all do have biases based on what you grew up with, and obviously growing up in Connecticut, UConn basketball is a
Sure.
big deal and all of that. But a buddy of mine, Hoffbauer, we're on this thread. He just lives and dies UConn basketball, and he's like, well, UConn's past Indiana now, and I was thinking about it
In the last 30 years,
and
he's
I
right.
was like, you know what, man, like. We got a quarter century sample size now. That's a lot. More than that, really, because UConn started being really good in the late 80s. So we've got almost a 30-plus year sample size of that. But 25 years since they've won the title. 99 was their first kind of breakthrough one and went to the Final Four. But it's kind of sad, right? Like Indiana used to firmly be in that mix, and now Indiana's starting to push out of the top 10, I think, even when you take history into account.
you're right.
Because they're certainly behind Louisville, and then they're behind UConn now. And then you take the other four, UCLA, UK, North Carolina, Kansas. They're clearly behind them. I mean, so we're talking best case scenario for Indiana, and an argument's going to be, what, 8th?
It's hard to argue that.
And if you ask people relevancy-wise nationally, I think they'd have to be behind like Michigan State, right? And Arizona and some of these other teams.
Let me tell you what the difference is. The difference between UConn right now, okay? I always forget. It's Danny Hurley, right? Where did he go to college?
Dan Hurley? I actually don't even know.
Okay. Where did Kevin Ollie go?
UConn. Signed my shirt at Fairfield U basketball camp.
Okay. Hear me out here. John Calipari, where did he go to college?
That place in Pittsburgh,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Did he go to Pitt? But he's from Pittsburgh.
Bill Self, where did he go?
Oh, I don't know.
Oklahoma State.
Oh, did he really? I didn't know that.
Rick Pitino, where did he go?
I don't know, CCNY?
Okay, but
I don't know.
but David Padgett went where?
David Padgett went to Louisville, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And Kenny Payne.
Kenny Payne, did he also play at Louisville?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll do one more for you. Matt Doherty.
North Carolina.
Okay. I guess Roy Williams went to North Carolina, right?
Oh, did he?
I think he did.
Okay.
Dean Smith.
He went to
Kansas.
Dean Smith played at Kansas?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So, North Carolina,
thought
their
he was one of those
legendary
New York
coach
guys.
that won them multiple titles, didn't go to North Carolina.
Mm.
Louisville, Rick Pitino, the coach that won him a title. Denny Crum, didn't go to Louisville. Went with a guy currently who played at Louisville, won 4 games. Had an intern, played at Louisville, didn't stick with him. Connecticut, Kevin Ollie, won a title with him, but then had to run him out. Played at Connecticut. Went and got Danny Hurley, not synonymous. I don't think he went to Connecticut, and has the program at a high level. My point being, Indiana, if they want to get back to the area where and Mike Woodson's done a good job.
Dan Hurley went to Seton Hall.
Yeah, okay.
didn't
Mike
know
Woodson's done a good job. But he's not going to be there forever, and we know that. And in 2 years, if Indiana's like, we got to get an IU guy. We got to get Dusty May. Dusty May may be Paul Hewitt. I don't know. He might be the best coach in college basketball. I don't know that. But Indiana, at some point, if Indiana wants to get back into the form of the elite, Indiana needs to do what North Carolina has done, what Kansas has done, what Kentucky has done, and that is say, we are the best because we're going to go out and get the best. Not go out and get somebody who we think might become the best because they came up through our system. What did they do for them in the past? You know, everybody's like, they got to get an Indiana guy, got to get an Indiana. Indiana has undersold themselves on their coaching search like every year, every time. You know, it's how you end up with Tom Crean.
Look,
Now, Archie Miller, they went outside the box. I get it.
I think they made a mistake. They made a mistake not opening the job up after night because that was a
Correct.
time when they could have
After
still
Davis,
attracted.
I understand.
Yeah.
After Knight, I understand that it was going to be difficult to get somebody to immediately follow Knight. After Davis,
Well, they did open it up, right? They just made the
Did
wrong.
they?
They made
Did
the
they?
wrong choice.
They
Kelvin
acted like they-
Sampson had been to a couple of Final Fours and was like a
they
national.
acted like they opened it up, and then the
candidate.
president of the university came in and said, you have to hire this criteria.
But it's not
and you
like
get Kelvin
Sampson wasn't regarded as
He's a very good
top
coach.
level
He's
head
a very good coach. You're right. But you also knew that, and Sampson, to their credit, would have won, and Indiana would be ranked. They'd probably be a 1 seed this year if Kelvin Sampson had stayed. But Kelvin Sampson was run out of town because of stuff that, guess what, he had been doing, which is why he was being investigated and about to get run out in Oklahoma.
You should have known what was happening.
Correct.
I guess there. But I don't think that was a. I don't think that was a process failure. I think that was a result failure.
But my point being with Indiana is too hung up on 35 years ago. Wake up, smell the coffee, live in the now, right? We are 2 years removed from an NCAA tournament where there will not be a single player of the 68 teams in the tournament who has seen Indiana in a Final Four in their lifetime.
Yeah.
Same can be said for Purdue. I get it. But Purdue doesn't sit around and talk about how great their Final Fours are.
Well, and Purdue was never a blue blood program. They're just not.
Right.
Purdue's a great program. They're not a blue blood. Indiana at a time was not
Correct.
anymore. I mean, to me, the blue bloods are UCLA, UNC,
You know what's weird
Kentucky, Duke.
You know what's
Kansas.
weird about blue bloods? Doesn't blue blood mean it has yet to be oxidized?
I don't know where that term comes
I think
from.
blood is blue until it's oxidized,
Yeah, I knew that,
at which
yeah.
point it becomes red, right? So a blue blood would actually be one that has yet to mature and be properly nourished.
Well, it's not your blood's not immature. It's just internal.
Well, but what I'm saying is, if your blood is blue, and then once it gets oxidized, it turns red.
All right.
Then the most important nutrient of it
Let's get to an
changes
actual
it from blue.
champion here in Indianapolis with our Lou Malnati's Who's Cooking segment. Now 5 Indianapolis locations.
Do we have ribbon cutting photos?
No, actually, no. Sorry. I didn't get any of the ribbon cutting photos. They're on social media at Lou Malnati's if you want to check them. And I retweeted a couple with me with the scissors.
Derek.
Avon, Greenwood, West 86th Street, Carmel, B-Rip.
I'd like to make a statement to
Midtown.
Lou Malnati's in Chicago, if I may.
Okay. Go ahead.
Dear
Lou
Lou
Malnati's
Mal-
corporate.
Dear Lou Malnati's corporate, we are extremely thrilled and always honored to be able to represent your brand as you bring it now to Central Indiana and continue to bless the people of Central Indiana with the taste and the expertise and the perfection they have come to know with each and every trip to Chicago that has become a staple of a trip to the Windy City. And by no means or any stretch of the imagination does a trip to Chicago become less now by also experiencing the enriched Lou Malnati's experience just because you can also have it here in Indiana. I am most thankful and most grateful for it, and quite frankly, it adds legitimacy to this program to have something like Lou Malnati's and its long-standing brand and its connection to Indiana with its current president being an Indiana graduate. It makes sense. But I'd like to apologize on behalf of my co-host, Derek Schultz, for the 17 emails, the 31 voicemails, and the 14 text messages that I know he sent you because I was CC'd, asking to be able to be part of the ribbon-cutting ceremony of your brand-new location on Rockville Road for Carryout, one of the Central Indiana locations that, of course, accompany your fine establishment right on the canal in Broderpool on Ferguson where people can come and get their pizza. I apologize because Derek promised that he would make sure that we posted everywhere the fabulous photos of him with the big scissors, which in reality were fairly normal-sized scissors, but big with him, cutting the ribbon.
Sizz.
So we did that, and now, lo and behold, after all of that, he failed to bring the photos.
All right.
I'd like to apologize for his oversight, but thank you for your participation and belief.
Vince, let's get Jake's apology in post. 3, 2, 1. 5 Central Indiana locations now: Avon, Broad Ripple, Greenwood, West 86th Street, Carmel, and we're excited about all 5 of those. Our free delivery code.
Did you get the photos of the
Right up there.
ribbon cutting?
QNS Freedell 23.
We went out and cut the ribbon.
I misplaced those. Let's go ahead with our Who's Cooking this week. It is the Ben Davis boys basketball team. History for the Giants. Most wins ever for an Indiana State champion.
All they got to do is get on Rockville and go like 2 miles from Ben
33,
Davis.
that's
celebrate
right.
with some Lou Malnati's.
33 in Donut this year. They beat Kokomo again. So this year the Giants beat number 2 Penn. They beat number 5 Kokomo twice. They beat number 6 Cathedral twice. They beat number 8 Brownsburg twice. And they beat 3A champ Northwood.
You know the thing that's great about them? True team. True team.
You don't even have a high-level Division I player on that squad.
And they were unbelievable. They
Like
played
Power 5
so
level.
well together, right? I mean, just a true team. Well
Zane
coached.
Dowdy. I mean, it's a really good group. Don Carlisle's done a great job. All African-American head coaching staff as well. I didn't see if the IHSA had verified if it was the first all-black coaching staff to ever win a state championship.
Addicts?
Well, was the entire head coaching staff?
I would assume because at that time I don't believe that – I shouldn't say that. It wasn't that white people weren't allowed to work at Addicts. It was the other way around, unfortunately.
I didn't want to say that it was because I don't know.
Right.
And I don't think the
Fair
IHSA – but still, it's significant to have that.
It is. It's very cool.
Yeah, to have that. And it's a city team, a township team, and I'm thrilled for them. Owen Poley, Greg Poley, John Easter, all the great folks over there at Ben Davis. Congratulations on a team that's going to be remembered forever. I mean, undefeated season. That doesn't happen all the time. So congrats to Ben Davis. Order.LouMalnati's.com for our friends at Lou's. We got some Sammys to eat.
Sammys.
We have quick hits to get to and a couple of other features to talk about. And I'll recap what was a very successful National Cheesesteak Day for our friends at Hoagies and Hops when we come back.
Okay, that's cool.
Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Don't go anywhere.
At Bailey & Wood, we pride ourselves on our 5-star customer service. But at our core, we're a family. Family owned, and family to our customers, staff, and our community. From charity events to recognizing hometown heroes, we prioritize giving back to our communities that have always supported our growth. So let us help you get your dream home today.
Introducing an old-fashioned that's ready to go when you are. An old-fashioned that you can make anywhere, anytime. Add 3 ounces of your favorite spirit plus one of our sugar cubes to make a consistent bar-quality old-fashioned without a mixologist. We use the finest bitters, organic crystallized brown sugar, and orange in our cubes. That's it, because that's everything the perfect old-fashioned needs. Online at yourgrandpasoldfashioned.com or on social media at YG Old Fashioned.
Hi, welcome back. It's Corey and Schultz.
Thanks
here
for
on
the warning.
ISC Sports Network.
I was looking down because I heard in the break in my ear, Derek, can you raise your seat, please?
I haven't raised my chair at all. This is my normal sitting height. So, hello.
You look ridiculous.
Look at that. This is awesome.
Your feet are like 3 feet from
Hi.
the ground.
No, they're not.
Yeah,
No,
they
they're
are.
not. They're fine.
Yeah, no, your feet are dangling.
No, they're not. This is good. I don't want to lower it because then it takes away from,
You look like Humpty Dumpty.
see? Like, I don't want to do that.
Your feet are touching the ground finally. That's good.
There we go. Let's get back up there. Look at that. Hi. I feel like I'm getting into a pickup truck. There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse as
Are you harnessed?
a shorter
Can we
guy.
call OSHA, please?
There's nothing worse as a shorter guy that when you get in somebody else's truck and they've got like the little step ladder for you, and that's what. Remember we had that deal with was it Ram trucks for the Reggie Wayne show?
Yes.
And we went in a Ram truck. They're gigantic to go pick up Reggie Wayne one
I didn't
time.
notice.
And you were sitting shotgun, and you go, hold on here. And you hit that button, and that little ladder came out. And I have never, you've insulted me many times before. I have never been so insulted in my life.
Did you use it?
Then when I had to. I couldn't get in the thing without the little auto ladder. I had to use it. Okay. Oh, God. Hoagies and Hops, National Cheesesteak Day, a huge hit. They raised over $700 for our friends at MLK Center by donating the proceeds, not only of the food sales, but also the chili water beer sales. And we've got a delicious chili water beer to get to as well.
This is fabulous.
But this is probably, if I'm doing a power rankings of my favorite Hoagies and Hops sandwiches, hold on here, I need to go a little bit lower. There we go. Of my favorite Hoagies and Hops sandwiches, this is
You couldn't reach your
probably
laptop?
number 2. But this is the Brotherly Love. So it's a lot like the Hog Island, the Italian, with a couple of
Not a lot like this program.
a couple of quirks on it. But lettuce, tomato, you got the meats, you got the cheeses, the ham in there, the turkey in there. It's really, really good. And some oil as well for the Brotherly Love. So let's just dive in.
The oil's fabulous.
You can talk while I'm doing this, man.
No, I'm waiting for you. I went to Hoagies and Hops. Rob Whitaker and I went on Monday. Was it Monday? No, Tuesday.
Okay.
Last Tuesday we went.
Say hi to Christina, or was she in there?
Oh, yeah, she was in. Had the cheesesteak. I actually did the chicken cheesesteak, which was fantastic. Whitaker did not make fun of me for putting ketchup on it. You're dropping stuff.
You can put whatever you want on a cheesesteak. I will not put ketchup on it, but you do you. Zaire Franklin does ketchup and mustard
Yeah.
on his cheesesteak.
Called the Zaire, right?
Hero of the week. Give it up for Dusty May, Eastern Green High School, IU alumnus.
J&V's high school.
That's right. He's got the Owls in the Final Four, a program that had never won an NCAA tournament game and started like 30 years ago. They'd only been in the tournament once. They won the A-Sun in 2002. Now representing the Conference USA, 35-3. Jake, I don't care what level you play at.
Correct.
You win 35 games.
You're right.
You're a
You're doing something
legitimately
right.
good basketball team.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, I don't care. You could beat a bunch of Ken Pom 250 teams. But 35 wins is incredible. 30 wins is incredible, much less 35. But Dusty May coached a basketball class when I was at IU when I was a senior. And my buddy Eric Edelsberg, who tried to fight you at my bachelor party, we had that class with Dusty May, and he was like the video gopher for Mike Davis, like the lowest of the low rungs. It was a class that actually Bob Knight used to teach. Coaching basketball. It was at Assembly Hall. We would meet in the media room at Assembly Hall, and he looked like he was 15. And we used to like kind of bust his chops.
Was he cool?
He was a super nice guy, and obviously knew basketball.
What'd you call him?
Oh, we just called him Dusty.
Okay.
Yeah. Some people called him coach, but he didn't want to be called coach.
Okay.
At least I don't think he wanted to be called coach. I don't know. We might have called him Dusty just because he was like 4 years older than us.
Right.
But good for Dusty May. What a great run, and I'm assuming that there are going to be a lot of job offers.
But there's nothing open. Penn State, Texas is probably going to be filled internally.
Yeah, we think. Yeah.
I'm going to make my prediction again. Somebody else actually said this to me, and they said, Jake, I don't need any credit for it. It's a great thought. If Miami wins it all, Jim Larinaga says that's it. I got 2 years left of my deal, but, I mean, it's never going to get better than this. Jim Larinaga walks. If Jim Larinaga leaves the University of Miami, Dusty May, there you go.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me, he isn't going to want to uproot his family. It's 40 miles away.
Yeah, where is Fort Atlantic?
Boca Raton.
Okay.
I looked it up. Boca Raton to Coral Gables, 42 miles. I know traffic sucks there.
So it's on the East Coast.
Well, Derek, this is a shock. I know. It's on the Atlantic side.
Oh, yeah, because Florida. Well, but Florida, the directional Floridas are weird, aren't they? Isn't South Florida in like Orlando?
Florida Gulf Coast?
Or South Florida's Tampa,
remember Florida
right?
Gulf Coast?
Yeah.
That's on the Gulf Coast.
But you would agree that some of the directional schools in Florida are a little bit weird.
Central Florida. I like South Florida and Central Florida are like right
Yeah,
next to
South
each
Florida's
other.
in Tampa. Like,
Yeah.
Tampa is, you're getting towards South Florida,
I would
but
agree.
I don't
would agree
regard
with
that
you
as
there.
South Florida.
I would agree with you there.
So,
But regardless, how about this one? This Final Four represents 4 schools whose mascot nickname has never before been in the Final Four. True or false?
well, the Owls, I know Temple never went because they're probably one of the best programs to never go to a Final Four, right?
True or false?
Huskies. Has Washington never gone to a Final Four? Or anybody named Huskies? Hurricanes. There are no other Hurricanes except Miami and Carolina, I guess, in the NHL. And then who am I missing? Aztecs. Yeah, there's no other Aztecs. Yeah, I'd say true.
False. Temple's been twice. I did not know that. John Chaney never went.
Oh.
But Temple went in 56 and 58.
Okay.
I didn't look up Washington because once
Gotcha.
I saw Temple had, I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah, I would
there goes
think
my fun
that
fact.
somebody else named Huskies has been to the Final Four.
Northern Illinois?
Well, yeah, but probably not NIU, but somebody in 1952. Like CCNY's name was
This year,
Huskies.
NIU didn't go to the Final Four this year, but Miami did, so NIL got it.
That's right, yeah. Well, pay up. You want to get there? You want to
True.
compete? Pay up. I got no problem with that. Let's get to a couple of our – well, actually, first, let's get to our Chili Water Brew. Almost forgot about that. This is the Blood Orange IPA. We had the Mango Habanero IPA last time, and I know you're an IPA guy. Best sound in the world right there.
Now,
So let's try this guy.
Don't spill it, Derek. I better move my phone. Be preventative here.
Oh, that's good, too. I like that one. It's weird for me because I'm not normally an IPA guy. Like, when I'm out, that's not what I usually get. But we've had back-to-back IPAs now,
That is good.
and these are tasty.
That is a less biting IPA. Like, it's not as hoppy.
Blood on the Tracks. Blood on the Tracks IPA, orange can, so you know it's Blood Orange IPA. Get it at Chili Water Brewing in the tap room,
Very
42nd and Boulevard, and they've been
And Chili Water is fabulous. Right
great
by
partners of
Fountain
Christina.
Square. You can walk across the bridge,
Yep.
go right into the Fountain Square area. It's
or if
great.
you're in Midtown, like we are, we can go grab if you ever want to. Actually, what are you doing later today? Want to go to Chili Water tap room, grab a Blood Orange
Well, I have tutoring.
IPA? Blood on the Tracks?
And I've got a new roommate, so I got to go back and tend to that.
That's right. Jake got a kitty. We'll talk about that coming up a little bit later on. So, Chili Water Brewing, 42nd and Boulevard, Hoagies and Hops, hoagiesandhops.com, also 42nd and Boulevard, same building, just adjoining space over there. And they're great, great partners of ours. We really appreciate
Very
it.
good.
Thoughts with Eric Montross. Diagnosed with cancer. He's still a young man. He's 51 years old. I mean, he basically he would have been class of 90,
Class ahead
right?
of me, yep.
Given the circumstances, I understand why he didn't win, but is it fair is he the best player to not win Indiana Mr. Basketball?
Certainly, Sean Kemp would be up there.
Yeah.
Certainly from
I just meant for who he was in high school. Well, I mean, I know Sean Kemp was dominant too, but
Yeah, he won a state title.
Yeah.
In his junior year, yeah, he'd be way up there.
like Montrose was like a USA Today, like All-American,
Yeah,
five-star
he was
recruit,
the number one
right?
recruit in the
Yeah.
country. He and Bailey. It probably, in hindsight, it probably should have been a co-Mr. Basketball.
Yeah.
Nobody was going to win it over Bailey. It probably should have been co.
Well, once he didn't choose Coach Knight, it was pretty obvious where my vote was going to go.
The number one thing I could say about Eric Montross, probably the biggest compliment I could pay him, would be the fact that there were two phases of my dislike for Eric Montross. The first phase was I was at North Central and he was at Lawrence North, and I saw his dominance, not only in them winning the state when he was a junior and I was a sophomore, but in my junior year and his senior year when they knocked North Central out of the Hinkle sectional night game. It was a great game. But he was the star, and he was the straw mixing the drink for basketball in Central Indiana. And for that reason alone, I didn't like him. And then the second time that I realized I didn't like Eric Montross, it didn't bother me so much that he went to North Carolina because he made a great decision, and it was a decision that obviously has helped him out throughout his entire life, and he's been a Tar Heel ever since and won a national title. But the second time that I realized I didn't like Eric Montross is when I actually was exposed to Eric Montross and realized he might be the most decent human being on the planet. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, man, you mean I didn't like this guy all along because I was a dumb, mature kid that thought basketball defined somebody? And he's just a super nice guy. So I absolutely wish the best for him.
And he just stayed out there. Really. He never came back to Indiana, right?
Correct. He worked he played in the NBA forever.
He's on the Carolina radio network now.
He told a great story that my buddy Rob Whitaker I just mentioned grew up with Montross, and Montross told Rob this story, who related to me, but it's a great one. You've heard me tell it, Derek. When he was, I think, in Philadelphia, the Sixers had a game. They were flying out of the Philadelphia airport, private, but flying out of the airport itself. And Montross was going up the escalator, and Jerry Stackhouse, his teammate's coming down the escalator. And Montross is like, and Stackhouse looks at him and goes, hey, man, come this way. We got traded. So he gets to the top of the escalator platform, goes down, and Stackhouse is like, yeah, man, we're on our way to Dallas. Like, you got traded with me, or wherever it was. And so he went to a different thing and took a flight to Dallas.
Wild.
Your luggage will catch up with you.
Jerry Stackhouse is a great example of a guy who never became what you thought he was going to be.
But he was still darn good.
But he played for 15 years and just had like a really good NBA career.
Vince Carter's the same way, those two.
I think Vince had a little more star power than Jerry Stackhouse, but yeah. I mean, Jerry Stackhouse probably made, like 2 All-Star teams, maybe?
What do you think is the Hoagie and Hops is so good.
Yeah, it's good, yeah.
It's when it hits your lips.
I know.
Career earnings of Jerry Stackhouse.
Oh, geez. $71 million.
I'll go $115 million.
$71 million for Jerry Stackhouse. I'm going to look it up right now.
115.
Now, of course, the head coach at Vandy, and seemingly has done a good job there. Remember, everybody was like, hey, what's this guy doing getting this job?
End of the year, many thought they were going to be the hot team coming in the tournament.
Yeah, they didn't do enough. They beat Kentucky a bunch of times, but they didn't really do a whole heck of a lot else. God, he played so long. I'm scrolling through all set. He was a 2-time All-Star.
Yep. You just go to career earnings.
And that's what I'm doing. It's at the very bottom of the page, though, so it takes a while for me to get all the way down there. Transactions.
Doing your wheel?
Salaries, $84 million. So I was close. Yeah.
Vince Carter.
Let's see. Wait, hold on. Let's see his trade. December 18th, 1997, traded by the Sixers with Eric Montross and a second-round pick for Aaron McKee, Theo Ratliff, and a first-rounder.
To who?
To Detroit.
Okay, Detroit.
Yeah.
Career earnings of Vince Carter, I will say $205 million.
I'll say $182 million.
Either way.
Vince Carter. I mean, it's got to be well into the hundreds, right?
Yeah, he played forever.
Yeah.
Played forever.
Look yeah, 171. See, I'm way better at this game than you are. Thanks, JD. Looking that up.
I did. Fine, we'll do.
171 million. No, you lost. We're not doing another one.
What Indiana high school basketball player has the highest career earnings in NBA history?
Major League Baseball, Eric Gordon. Major League Baseball opening day is Thursday. Mike Conley.
He's second. No, he's Conley is third. No, he's second.
Okay, you don't even have it right, so I'm not going to answer
anymore.
Randolph
is third.
Okay.
Gordon Hayward.
I don't think that's right. I don't think Gordon Hayward's made more money. Mike Conley has more of a head start.
Understood. I'll look it up here. Unless the boys in there
Major League opening day Thursday. Reds don't play till 4 p.m., which is really stupid. I don't know why they do that. Do you want to guess what the Reds' odds are to win the World Series? The favorites are the Astros at plus 600 and the Dodgers and Braves at 750.
150 to 1.
No.
Higher?
Yeah.
I mean, worse?
Yeah.
500 to 1.
Not that high.
250
they're
to 1.
plus 25,000. So that's 250 to 1, right? Yeah.
Ridiculous.
For them to win the World Series.
Should I throw some down on it?
Yeah, you might as well throw $1 on it, right?
Gordon Hayward, $210 million.
Yeah, wow. Lot of dough.
Unbelievable.
Lot
Now
of
Conley, I think, actually is like right behind him, but then Conley next year makes like $20 million more than Hayward. The way it's all slotted out.
Hayward's
So
in the last year of
they're
that
they're
deal,
kind of
right?
going back and forth.
I think Hayward's, if I remember right, I think Hayward's in the last year of that deal. Let's get to Love That Play as well. Sorry, we got all the features kind of coming at once. We got some old fashions to drink and some Biter Bowl Boop to get to at the end. 353-2141, love-hvac.com. Chris and John Love are the best. The Love brothers are going to take care of you. Family-run business since 1920.
Correct.
We have a Love HVAC
Love-HVAC.com. Did you say that?
in my basement. Yeah, and they're doing the basement. They said, hey, this thing's in pretty good shape here. And I said, yeah. And I looked at the call log. You know how they can write every time that it's serviced? And outside of, semi-regular servicing, just having Love out to take a look to make sure everything's fine, we've had that unit since 2014, and there have been actually only 2 real repairs. One time we had like a coil.
And they probably were on it right away,
yeah,
right?
they came right out and they did it. And then we had something else that was real minor, and they sent somebody out.
24-hour on-call maintenance, Love Heating and Air, treating you like family. Again, family-owned business, 4 generations deep. I've known them my whole life, and they are great. And I promise you they will treat you the exact same way as they have to me my entire life. I basically grew up in their house. Derek, for our Love That Play, you give me your version, I will give you mine.
Well, more of a collection of plays, but I wanted to give her a shout-out because she's been the star of women's basketball. Caitlin Clark had a 41-point triple-double. The highest-scoring triple-double in NCAA tournament history prior to that, men's or women's, was 29. So she shattered that record. 41, 12, 10 in an Elite Eight win over Louisville. Hawkeyes' first Final Four appearance in 30 years, and what's cool about it, if I'm not mistaken, she's a Des Moines native.
She is, West Des Moines, yep.
She could have gone anywhere. And she went to Iowa, who, has a women's basketball program. They had Vivian Stringer way back in the day. They were okay. And she's made him a national contender.
Yeah, she has Steph Curry type
it's
feel
insane.
about it, right?
Yeah. Huge
Pulls up
star.
from anywhere.
Yeah.
She's great.
I think probably the most star power. I mean, I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. Like Diana Taurasi, remember? She was a big star, it felt like. But that was 20-something years ago now. And I know you've had some other ones.
My Love That Play.
Yeah.
Can I give a personal one?
Sure.
My Love That Play, and it's fairly esoteric and probably only relevant to the north side of Indianapolis. But since it is Chris and John Love, who I went to North Central with, I'm going to give my Love That Play to North Central High School, bringing back Dr. White as an interim principal to finish out the school year. I had the honor, the pleasure of spending Friday afternoon with him over at North Central for a couple of hours, as a matter of fact, sitting down with him and talking about everything. And he is something else, man. There's just nobody like him. He is numero uno and will do fabulous things even in an abbreviated amount of time.
It's interesting because I feel like you've got these sections of your life where you have somebody that was really important, like Dr. White during your schooling, Ed Sorensen.
Correct.
And then
Ed,
later in your
sure.
professional career, me. And
okay.
You can just see your face light up whenever you discuss any of those people, because I've seen you discuss me on podcasts or other shows because people want to ask, hey, what's Derek like in real life? Like, is he humble? Because, we're big stars. And just to see you light up like that, it always means something to me.
I've actually never been asked that.
It always means something to me when you do that.
Your dad asked me that once.
Thank you. Appreciate you doing that. 353-2141, love-hvac.com. We're going to drink some old fashions. We're going to do some Biter Bowl Bleep.
You better catch up.
We come back when we wrap up the show. It's Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network.
Hey, AC!
Nice snap.
Mortgage is a snap! Duh!
Bailey and Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
At Bailey & Wood, we pride ourselves on our 5-star customer service. But at our core, we're a family. Family-owned, and family to our customers, staff, and our community. From charity events to recognizing hometown heroes, we prioritize giving back to our communities that have always supported our growth. So let us help you get your dream home today.
Hey, AC!
Nice snap.
Mortgages and a snap. Duh.
Bailey and Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Welcome back. Final time from the Lou Malnati studio. It's Bailey and Wood presents Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network, alongside this empty chair. I'm Derek Schultz. Jake couldn't hold it in. We've had a lot of liquids up here. We've had the chili water, blood on the tracks, blood orange IPA. We've had our old fashions here. And what I'm holding in my hand here is your key to making a delicious old fashioned and have it be consistent every time. Because that's something else about old fashions. Depending on, whose house you're at or if you're making one of your own, they're always a little bit different because people just make them differently. Simple syrup or whatever ingredients that they use. These cubes here from our friends at Your Grandpa's Old Fashioned, instant cocktail cubes is what they're called, or ICCs, what they call them around the Schultz household. You get one of these packages. You've got the economy size one at yourgrandpasoldfashioned.com.
I mean, these are fabulous.
You're guaranteed to make an old-fashioned, consistent, delicious, awesome every single time. And painless, easy. All you got to do, we demonstrated on the show last week, Jake, remember, throw the cube in the glass, crush that thing up, go ahead and pour some bourbon in.
You're good to go.
Stir, bada bing, bada boom. And you get a delicious old-fashioned like this.
You can get I think, the little hint of vanilla bean in it, which is what I like.
Yeah? I just like the sweetness of it and just... I think the whole point is, I like bourbon. I even like bourbon sometimes just straight.
It takes the bite off the bourbon.
It does. It makes it just much more smooth. So, reminds me of me, really.
Okay.
Much more smooth. Delicious. Get these online. Your Grandpa's Old Fashioned.
The bite. Think of the bite.com of straight bourbon being me.
They ship everywhere.
And then afterwards, it's Derek.
And thanks to JD and his crew for believing in the branding of the show to help their brand here at Your Grandpa's Old Fashioned.
And people can order it again how?
Go online, yourgrandpasoldfashioned.com.
Your Grandpa's Old
JD, should they do that? Or I know they're available on other websites, but just go to the website, right? Yeah, that's what they want you to do. Just go right to the website for yourgrandpasoldfashioned.com.
Seriously, they're great. It's
I like
great.
the logo, too. He looks nice.
It's cool.
He looks nice. I would let that cartoon make me a drink.
Well, that'd be something.
Like an old-fashioned, yeah. Like you, I don't know if I would trust to make me a drink or pour me a drink. Let's get to Buy It or Bull Bleep.
Okay.
Brought to you by our friends at Chateau Kitchens. They're over at my house right now. Actually, I think the electricians are over at my house right now, wiring everything.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to come over to the man cave when it's done? It's not really a man cave. My wife's barely letting me have a say in anything that's going on.
Patrick Ewing figurines all over the place?
Yeah. This is giant. Patrick Ewing jersey, framed jersey. Patrick Ewing framed picture, me and him, San Antone. And then some pictures from my career with people that have been important in my career. So there's a lot of pictures of you and me, actually. Reggie Wayne, Jeff Saturday, even though I don't know if Jeff Saturday likes me anymore after.
So if you have a picture
season
of me and you and a picture of you with Ewing, you have pictures with a long line of people who lost their job after taking the picture with you.
Ewing hung on another 5 years. We hung on another 18 months, I think, after we took that picture there in San Antonio. ChateauKitchens.com, before and after pictures if you want to see their great work. Don't even take my word for it. Just go to Instagram, Chateau Kitchens, at Chateau Kitchens, Facebook as well, and you can see the beautiful, magnificent, palatial
that old-fashioned is
work
good.
that they do. I know. Warms me up on kind of this sort of day. Statement 1, Buy It or Bull Bleep. Lamar Jackson will be playing quarterback for an NFC team next year. Buy It or Bull Bleep. I mean, who else would be,
I'll buy that.
I heard Detroit as being a team that makes a lot of sense for him. But who else would be in the mix with the Colts?
I think Jared Goff is a perfectly fine quarterback.
I mean, I haven't looked at the list. I know all these clickbait websites go 5 most likely landing spots for Lamar Jackson, but I haven't actually clicked on any of those. So I don't.
San Francisco?
Yeah. I mean,
Arizona's got
I would think
Murray,
if you're
I guess.
Baltimore, you got a tough road as it is. You don't want to. I wouldn't want him to be on the Colts.
Washington?
Sure. I wouldn't want him to be on the Colts. So, yeah, I'll say fine. NFC team. Buy It or Bull Bleep. Buy It or Bull Bleep, statement 2. This will be the lowest rated Final Four in history.
It's going to be up there. I don't know about lowest rated in history, but it's going to be up there because people talk about blue bloods. They love blue. They love to see the blue bloods go down. Excuse me, but the reality is when Kansas, Duke, Carolina, Kentucky, Louisville, UCLA, when those schools are in, people watch. And, a lot of people are going to watch for Florida Atlantic and San Diego State. Maybe. The problem with, San Diego State is, it's in a great city and a beautiful – but how many people went to San Diego State? Yeah. Now, I was in a bar did they play on Friday night? And it was fun to watch. There was a guy there. This was actually really cool. I was in a bar on Friday night, a restaurant, and there was a guy there who I think was a graduate of San Diego State. And he was wearing a San Diego State T-shirt, and he was by himself. I think he had, maybe his girlfriend with him. But he was going bonkers. And so to give him that feel, everybody in the bar started kind of doing it with them for San Diego State and chanting out SD, and then he's going SU, and to make him feel like he was watching it back home or whatever. And it was cool. It was cool to see everybody do that.
What I don't like about the ratings discussion or this whole thing, well, we want blue bloods. UConn Gonzaga on paper, you're like, oh, hell yeah, sign me up for that game. That game was over at the
correct
17:30 mark of the second half.
UNC Asheville has right now the biggest blowout in the tournament. They lost by 33. I thought Gonzaga was going to surpass it.
Yeah. That game was a joke. It was a miracle that Gonzaga was even within shouting distance at halftime, but I think we fool ourselves. Remember 2018 San Antonio, Villanova ran Kansas off the floor.
Correct.
In that semifinal game. Or that Buddy Yield Oklahoma team got blasted.
Yeah.
So just because it's two off-brand teams doesn't mean it's going to be a crappy game. Could very well be a great game, an all-time classic game. With how they've played so far, all the games have been close. Certainly for FAU. Even the FDU game, it took them forever to put them away. So do I buy that the ratings are going to be one of the lowest? Sure, I guess. But I don't think that takes away from the entertainment value of it. I don't really have a statement 3. I just wanted to give you statement 3 to talk about your cat.
Oh, okay.
For people that don't know.
I adopted a cat.
Yeah. His name is Boo.
Boo.
He's a black cat. Now, you took a life, so this was replacing the one – sorry, I should probably say that more tactfully. You ended the time on Earth for another cat, so you wanted to extend the time on Earth for this one.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
So I was driving to work last week. I think it was on Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't remember. Oh, no, 2 weeks ago. Anyway, I was driving to work one day.
Yeah, because I talked to you the day that it happened.
It was awful. I was driving down. Obviously, it was early. It was like 6:40 in the morning, and it's dark. It's not like I'm on my phone or anything. I'm just driving, and it was kind of rainy, and I thought I hit like a trash can. And without going into too much detail, I realized, wait a minute, that might have been like an animal. So I don't know what compelled me to do it, but I turned around to go back and look, and it was a cat. And fortunately, I think it was instant because he was no longer with us by the time I got there, which was 30 seconds later. And it was terrible. And so I wasn't going to leave him in the middle of the road, Went back after I got off work. But at any rate, he was someone had already gotten him by then.
Oh, good.
But I felt terrible about it. And it just like it, I wasn't like sitting around curled up in the fetal position, but you feel bad, right?
Yeah, of course.
So
I feel bad when I hit a squirrel.
So I thought to myself, we had cats when I was a kid, but I've never had one on my own. My place is neurotically clean and pristine and smells great. That's all out the window now. So I went to the Humane Society of Marion County on Michigan Road on Tuesday and said, do you have a cat that has everything going against it and has been here a while and is not going to get adopted? Of course, you never know who's not going to get adopted. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, we have one named Boo, who is a black cat, which I guess that makes it hard to adopt because people think it's bad luck. He's 9, and I have no idea if this is true or if they told Boo to go along with this lie and he went along with it. I don't know. But they said he lived with a dog, and his owner passed away a little over a year ago, whatever. So in October, he was taken to Indianapolis Animal Care and Control with the dog, but they determined that he and the dog were not bonded. They just did their own deal. So the dog got adopted, hopefully, and Boo was on his own there. Well, they were up against it on space, so they transferred him, I think, to 2 different humane societies. And he'd been there in the one on Michigan Road since early November, and she said that only 2 people had even asked to see him.
Yeah.
So she took me up to go see him, and he was sitting on top of kind of a perch, and he hissed. I walked up and he hissed, and then
Not uncommon.
What's that?
Not uncommon.
Right.
Yep.
So then I put like a little cat treat on my finger. He licked that and kind of nestled up against me, and I turned around and said, all right, I'll pick him up Thursday. So I went, and they gave me, and they're smart on this, they gave me like a little gift discount to a pet store. And I bought, my sister laughed at me because I bought like
climbing tower and all that stuff. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
So I basically took my guest bedroom in my place and turned it into a cat Disney World.
Nice.
And he's got a ledge and he's got everything. Well, Derek, for 60 hours, as soon as I got him and let him out of the crate, and he was perfect when I brought him home, didn't say a word. I let him out of the crate, and he kind of slinked away and went and hid. And I did not see him except for a couple times I caught vision of him going out to get something to eat. And he did use his litter box, which was good. But he hid for 62 hours.
Yeah.
And Saturday night, Sunday morning, 3 in the morning, I got up, and it startled me. Maybe that's why his name's Boo. He came named. He was sitting in the lazy boy chair just looking at me. And so I got down on the ground, put food on my fingertip again. It took 35 minutes of him figuring it all out, and then finally he came up, licked my finger, and then rubbed up all on me, and he's been my buddy ever since.
Yeah,
so
cool.
Yesterday I was doing some work around the house and looked up, and he was up in the windowsill and on top of the cat tree. My neighbors actually brought over a little gift bag of treats for him. My sister did as well, and he's enjoyed those. So it's still an acclimation, but I'll probably never have a clean house again, and it'll never smell good again.
There you go.
That's okay.
By the way, indiehumane.org.
Yeah,
if you want to find
great.
a site near you.
They were great. They were great
rescue
in
an
terms
animal.
of letting me know how to kind of acclimate him and giving me treats to take him home and everything else.
That's awesome.
So Boo is a cool dude.
Great story.
He's 9, so he's middle-aged.
Yeah, I'll come meet him someday. Just let me know.
unlikely.
I'll just stop by. Swing by and go see
We just sit around, me and Boo, and watch Bonanza on TV Land. A couple of middle-aged guys.
I believe it. 2-bedroom apartment where you live alone, and now I can't say that anymore. You
That's
don't
right.
technically live alone.
He loves my Charles Manson letter.
Oh, God. Thanks to all of our great sponsors, Lou Malnati's, Bailey and Wood Financial Group, Your Grandpa's Old Fashioned, Chili Water Brewing, Hoagies and Hops, Love Heating and Cooling. Did I get everybody?
Sure.
I think I got everybody, right? Chateau Kitchens. Sorry. My friends at Chateau, I always look at the T-shirts out front for a cheat sheet. For Vince, for
Did you say Love
JD, for
Heating?
Jake. Yep. I'm Derek
Chili
Schultz.
Water?
We'll see you next time. Toast to you.
Ball here. Harris scores. With 19 seconds left. Fake players, big boy. I'm telling you right now, that's awesome. I love it. That's the finish. You get a layup taken and an and one. Out of here.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Brewer jams it home.
That ball wiggles in and into the back of the net.
A little fireworks in the first half. Throw it up for Tillman. Whoa, my goodness. 122-6-0 for Penn.
What a swim!
6 of them.